Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining this webinar. I welcome you all to this exclusive webinar where we will give you an insight on the IPO season that's going to start and the four IPOs, especially the four IPOs that have hit the market starting 14th of June. We will have two which will hit the market tomorrow. Now, let's take a look at, how the IPOs will fare. Our research head, Mr. Deepak Jasani, who is with us, will give you the insight, and then his colleague will, also talk about the IPOs in detail. So over to Mr. Deepak Jasani, sir.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to this webinar on the four IPOs that we have. Now I have with me my colleague Atul, who will take us through individual IPOs in a little bit of detail. So now the IPO market is emerging out of a 2-month-long hibernation. The last main board IPO was Macrotech in early April. A lot of companies which are planning to come out with IPOs had put their IPOs on hold due to the uncertainties resulting out of the COVID-19 pandemic. Even the investors were not sure as to whether they should apply to those IPOs, at what valuations they should apply. But now I think with the COVID cases coming under control, economic activities may resume quite soon, and that is why the issuers of these four IPOs have come out with the IPO, which have two of which have opened yesterday and two of which will open tomorrow. So the worries out of the COVID-19 pandemic are now sort of getting lifted, and we now have four IPOs back to back lined up. So investors have a lot of choice currently. And the refunds arising out of one of the IPOs cannot be invested in the other IPOs because they are back to back. So you will have to have different sums allocated in case you want to apply for all of them. Now, within these four IPOs, I think Sona and Shyam were aiming earlier for bigger IPOs, but later scaled down the amount as the issuers were not getting the valuations which they felt they deserved. However, we don't know as to whether the valuations that they have come out with currently are fair valuations or not. That only time will tell. And we also don't know about the trajectory of the overall market. Currently, markets look protected, chugging along well, gradually rising. But there are a lot of fears among investors as to whether when the markets will turn down, and in case they turn down before the IPOs get listed, then they could be in for some flattish opening or maybe a down opening. But I think at this moment that scenario does not look plausible, but we have to keep that in the back of our mind while taking any decisions in applying for IPOs. Now over to Atul, who will take us through individual IPOs one after the other. So he will start with Sona at the start. Yeah, Atul.
Thank you, Deepak sir, and good afternoon, everybody. I would be taking you through the details of all the IPOs. First and foremost, we have the largest among the four IPOs, which is Sona BLW Precision Forgings. Now, Sona BLW Precision Forgings is a technology and innovation-driven company supplying highly engineered mission-critical automotive systems and components like differential assemblies, gears, conventional and micro-hybrid starter motors, etc. It has a strong R&D focus, and with an increasing share coming from supplies to electric vehicles, which seems to be the future of automobile. Now, the issue has already opened yesterday, that is 14th of June, and it will be closing tomorrow, that is 16th of June. The total issue size of Sona BLW Precision Forgings is around 5,550 crores at the higher price band, of which around rupees 300 crores would be fresh issue. Now, out of the issue, around 75% would be for qualified institutional buyers, that is QIBs. Up to 15% is reserved for non-institutional investors, and around 10% is for institutional investors. The price band of the issue has been fixed between rupees 285 and rupees 291, and the lot size is 51 shares. So post the issue, the promoter stake is likely to fall to 67.3% from 100% currently. Among the listed peers, Sona BLW can be compared to Motherson Sumi and Mahindra CI.
Okay. Now, thank you, Atul, for your summary on Sona. Now, incidentally, the detailed reports on all these 4 IPOs are available on our website, so you can go through in case you want to study any particular IPO in detail. That is available on our website. Now, Blackstone backed Sona is supposed to be India's first EV-related listing. 94% of the issue size consists of offer for sale. For fiscal 21, about 1,116 crores, which is about 75% of its sales, was derived from sale of goods to electric vehicles, hybrid, micro hybrid, and power source neutral products. The valuation at the outset looks a bit stiff, but being the first company to have EV exposure, a large EV exposure, the management feels that they deserve this kind of valuations. Its PAT margins has influenced it to demand a valuation that translates into 11 times FY21 sales. The PAT margins, incidentally, are much above the that of the peers, which is clear from what Atul showed on his slide. For example, Sona has a PAT margin of 13.7% versus Motherson's 1.8 and Mahindra CI is 1.8. So this is what has influenced Sona to demand this kind of evaluations. And on PE wise, it is more or less similar. On PBV, again, it looks a little stiff as compared to the other 2 peers. Okay. So back over to Atul for the next company.
Thank you, sir. The next IPO is of Shyam Metallics and Energy Limited. Once again, this IPO has opened yesterday and would be closing tomorrow. Now, SMEL is a leading integrated metal producing company based in India with a focus on long steel products and ferroalloys. As of February 2021, it was among India's largest producer of ferroalloys in terms of installed capacity and 4th largest player in the sponge iron industry. So the total issue size of Shyam Metallics is of around rupees 909 crores, of which the fresh issue would be 650 crores. In this IPO, the QIB reservation is up to 15%. Non-institutional investors would be getting around 50%, and retail investors would be up to 35%. The price band of this IPO has been fixed at rupees 303 to rupees 306, and the lot size is 45 shares and in multiples thereof. Post the issue, the promoter stake would be declining to 88.4% from 100% currently. And among the listed players, Shyam Metallics can be compared to Godavari Power, Tata Steel Long Products, and Sarda Energy. Over to you, sir.
Yes. So now Shyam Metallics this IPO consists of a large portion of fresh issue as compared to other issues where the OFS portion is large. Now, in case of Shyam, the fresh issue portion is large, which is refreshing. The company is a leading integrated metal producing company based out of India with a focus on long steel products and ferroalloys. It is expected to increase its aggregate installed metal capacity from 5.7 million tons per annum in December to 11.6 million tons and captive power from 226 megawatts to 357 megawatts. Now, metal stocks have recently seen a a long dream run, mainly due to expectation of large demand globally, Chinese cutback in production and exports, and lack of sufficient capacity addition in the recent past globally. This rally, like other rallies in the past, will be cyclical, and how long this bullishness will continue cannot be forecast at this point of time. Valuations demanded are at a premium to the listed companies. However, the expansion and the financials of the company are decent. So in that sense, again here, if we look at Shyam's financials, it has a PAT margin of 11.6%, which is comparable to the others, but lower than Godavari and Sarda. Return ratios are 18%, which is good. PE demanded is about 12.8 and PBV is 2.1. So on PE terms, it is a little expensive than its peers. On PBV, it is more or less on par with the others. So being a newly listed company in the same space and riding the current metal bull run, this company offers IPOs to the investors to participate in the upfront. Now, as we discussed earlier, we don't know as to how long this metal upcycle will continue, but it is unlikely to sort of turn down in the next 1 or 2 weeks by the time this IPO will get listed. So one need not worry about whether the IPO will start quoting at a discount unless we have some global event in the interim, which we cannot forecast at this point of time. So net, this is the background of the IPO. Yeah, now over to Atul for the next stock.
Thank you, sir. Well, the next IPO is of Dodla Dairy Limited. As the name suggests, it's a dairy company based in South India, primarily deriving all of its revenues from the sale of milk and dairy-based value-added products in the branded consumer market. It operates primarily across 5 states, that is Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Maharashtra. It also has overseas operations which are based in Uganda and Kenya. Now, the IPO period for Dodla Dairy is from 16 June to 18 June, and the total issue size is rupees 520 crores, of which the company would be getting around 51 crores. Now, up to 15% of the issue has been reserved for QIBs, with non-institutional investors getting 50% and retail investors 35%. The price band of the IPO has been fixed between rupees 421 and 428, and the lot size is of 35 shares and is multiples thereof. Post issue, the promoter stake would fall from 68.5% to 64.2%. The company can be compared with Heritage Foods, Hudson Agro, and Parag Milk Foods among the listed peers. Over to you, sir.
Okay, now Dodla Dairy is an issue where the proportion of OFS again is very large. So out of the monies which are raised, most of it will go to the selling shareholders and very little will come to the company as a fresh issue. So among the private dairy players with a significant presence in the southern region of India, it is the third largest in terms of milk procurement per day, with an average procurement of 1.03 million liters of raw milk per day as of March 2021, and second highest in terms of market presence all of India among the private dairy players, with a significant presence in the southern part of India. Now, the company reported super earnings in the pandemic period of FY21, which is a little surprising. In 9 months of FY21, it earned a PAT of 116 crores on sales of 1417 crores compared to a PAT of 50 crores and sales of 2146 crores in the full FY20. So this is a little surprising. One is not raising any doubts. Maybe the company has really done well in the pandemic year, but this point needs to be considered while you take any decision. Dairy companies have always remained in favor in India because of the huge demand, the growing demand, and on the one hand, the demand is growing at a rapid pace. On the other hand, the supply in terms of milk procurement is also rising because farmers are getting an additional source of income. So on both counts, the industry's future is bright. Dodla has been doing well. The in terms of valuation, as Atul mentioned, the PAT margin, as we discussed, 8.2% is the PAT margin, which is the highest across the 4 companies which we have compared. Return ratios are also 28%. P wise, it is offering shares at a reasonable valuation, and PB wise also there is not much to sort of complain. So this is all about Dodla Dairy. Yeah, over to Atul now.
The final IPO among this IPO season is of Krishna Institute of Medical Sciences. Now, KIMS is one of the largest healthcare groups in AP and Telangana in terms of number of patients treated and treatments offered. It provides multidisciplinary integrated healthcare services with a focus on primary, secondary, and tertiary care in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. It operates 9 multi-specialty hospitals under the KIMS Hospital brand. Now, this IPO is again opening with the Dodla Dairy, that is tomorrow on 16 June and closing on 18th of June. The IPO size for this is 2,144 crores, of which the company would be getting around 200 crores. The price band for this IPO is from 815 to rupees 825. And the bid size would be 18 shares and in multiples thereof. Post issue, the promoter stake would be diluted from 46.8% to 38.8%. Now, among the listed peers, this company can be compared with Max Healthcare, Fortis Healthcare, and Narayana Hrudayalaya. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Yes, so now Krishna Institute, the IPO, again, Krishna Institute is one of the largest corporate healthcare groups in AP and Telangana. So this is again a South-based company. In terms of number of patients treated and treatments offered, so it operates 9 multi-specialty hospitals under KIMS Hospital brand with an aggregate bed capacity of 3,064, including over 2,500 operational beds as of March 2021. Which is 2.2 times more beds than the second largest provider in AP and Telangana. So this is a large hospital operating out of a specific region. They have plans to expand to the other southern states going forward. Now healthcare again is as an industry is going to do well. We saw the importance of hospitals in the COVID pandemic. So this is something which is going to do well over the next 1 or 2 decades. So as far as industry is concerned, there is nothing much to worry. Now here in KIMS again, the PAT margin is quite healthy as compared to its peers. So maybe 15.5% is the PAT margin for KIMS versus negative PAT margins for most of its peers. So maybe this company is tightly run, very efficiently run, and that is why probably it is earning the kind of PAT margins that it is sort of displaying. In terms of PE, again, 32 times is what is being offered because the peers don't have profit. PE is not being calculated. Price to book wise, again. It is slightly cheaper compared to Narayana Hrudayalaya, but a little more expensive than the other 2. So this is as far as the KIMS IPO is concerned. Now we have a series of other IPOs lined up after this also. We have a long tail of IPOs, including the likes of Zomato, India Pesticides, Clean Sciences, not mentioning the mega Paytm IPO, which is going to come over the next quarter or so. IPO times are exciting. Now, at HDFC Securities, the customers can easily apply for IPOs online. Sharmila, can you just explain as to what is the process of applying for IPOs online? Because a couple of people have asked that question.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chisani. Now, ideally, when you want to apply for an IPO through HDFC Securities, we have various platforms. We have an online platform. We have the mobile platform. We have the call and trade center. You can call up your relationship manager and tell him to place the order for you. And people who do not have a trading account can go to their net banking and place the IPO order. Now, online, when you have a trading account, you need to log in, put in your password, put in your date of birth, and then log into your trading account. You will get a section called IPO. Click on that IPO. In 3 simple steps, just place the IPO, place the funds on hold, and you are done. Your order is placed. It will get bidded at the exchange, and then it will go in for allotment. If there is an allotment for you, you would be intimated and your amount would be debited, and the remaining amount would be returned back to you into your savings account.
Atul, can you show on this screen as to how can we apply? Maybe without logging in, which section one should go?
Without logging in, I don't know. Without logging in, I would have to log into some account.
Okay, so
I log into my account and show.
yeah. For the benefit of the people watching this webinar.
Yeah.
Customers need to click on that login, enter their login ID, put in their password, put in their date of birth, and click login.
We have a IPO section here.
Yes.
Here we can go under apply. We have IPO.
Yeah, go inside. Yeah.
All the active IPOs.
So they are listed. All the IPOs are listed. For example, Shyam Metallics. Go on the right side. There is an apply button. You can go and apply there. Go into that apply. Yeah, here you can select investor status. You will have to select a retail if you are not applying for more than 2 lakhs, and then fill up the number of shares, tick the cutoff price, and apply. So it is as simple as that.
So the box here which has popped up will give you how many shares are there for one lot. So then accordingly you apply.
45 is the lot here. So you apply, and then your funds will be kept on hold.
You go on go, click go.
Go, yeah, click go.
Yes.
Then
say okay.
Click OK to proceed.
Yes.
Agree.
This is the disclaimer. Now this is the funds that will go on hold.
Once you do hold, then your application is done.
Yes.
So this is
you can see the status of your application in the order book.
Right. So that how simple. This is very simple. So people who are doing it for the first time may not face much difficulty in doing this. Yeah. So this was the question asked by some people, and now
Can we have a quick Q&A, leaving out, what is the listing going to be and all, because that becomes a little difficult to answer.
I
But
have the Q&A in front of me. So this covers 2 or 3 questions, what we have done so far. And what is the benefit of buying IPO then purchasing it in later once it is listed on the stock market? So IPO may typically IPOs list at a premium to the issue price, most of them, not all. So you miss the difference between the listing price and the IPO price if you don't apply and just buy on listing. So that is the difference. But in case the IPO is going to be listed at a discount, then maybe you will be benefited. Then the other question. Zomato and Paytm, when are they expected? So no idea as of now, but Paytm will take a little longer. Zomato will come sooner. That is what we hear. And
yeah, we can have a timeline for Zomato somewhere by September. And for Paytm, it is, I think, December or post-December is what it is.
yeah, one person has asked that can I apply one lot today and second lot tomorrow for the same IPO using the same PAN and login? Yeah, Sharmila, I think
No.
you cannot, right?
No, you cannot. Under one PAN, you can apply only one application. In case if you want to, instead of one lot, you want to apply for 2 lots, then you can cancel that application and put in a new application or modify it from 1 lot to 2 lots.
So this is now whether you are doing it through HDFC Securities, through a bank IPO, through offline mode, all of the applications will be combined, and in case there are more than one applications under one PAN, all the applications will be rejected. Am I right, Sharmila?
Correct. Yes. You can have several trading accounts under one PAN. There is only one application that will be accepted. Now in HNI, if you place an order in HNI, it is mandatory that there is no cancellation for an HNI application. So people who are doing an HNI application need to really think well in advance and place the order, because once placed, it cannot be cancelled. It cannot even go under a lower modification, but there is a higher modification. That means if you applied for 20 lots, then you can make it to 25 lots, but you cannot make it to 19 lots, and you cannot cancel an HNI application.
Okay, there is one question about 2 lakh application have a quota or better chance of allotment. Now here again, wherever the gray market premium, now there is a concept of gray market premium. So wherever the gray market premium is large, people expect the HNIs to borrow funds and apply in a large way. So in that sense, some HNI quotas are oversubscribed multiple 100 times. In the past, we have seen 500 times, 600 times, versus retail. Retail will get oversubscribed to a maximum of, in a best of the case scenario, about 60-70 times. But retail may you have a limitation. You will, in case of oversubscription, you will get only one lot, that is about 15,000 worth of value. In case of HNI, it all depends on how much money you are willing to put in. So if you are willing to put in, say, 50 crores and the issue gets oversubscribed by 500 times theoretically, then you get 10 lakh worth of allotment. So that is the difference between an HNI and a retail. So there, if you are not borrowing in HNI and you are using just using your savings account funds, because this is ASBA block, so you are using the funds, you will continue to get interest on savings account. So there is no outgo for you as far as using your own funds is concerned. So in that case, you have a better chance of getting a bigger allotment in case of HNI. That is more than 2 lakh worth of application. Once you apply, can we revoke, Sharmila?
Remove what? I mean, cancel.
Revoke. Revoke, yeah, cancel. Up to what time?
As I mentioned, HNI cannot be cancelled. Retail can.
Up to what time limit?
No, HNI can never cancel, and retail can cancel up to 3 o'clock on the last day.
Now, some people have asked which is our preferred out of the 4 and such like. So now, because of compliance reasons, we cannot suggest to you to apply for a particular IPO or not apply to a particular IPO. Now, we have given you the report. We have given you this material through this webinar. Some people also would like to go through the gray market premium, which is available on some websites, and they can internally discuss with their friends, colleagues who are well versed with the IPO market, and then take a call as to whether they should apply in a particular IPO or not apply in a particular IPO.
Yes, Mr. Jasani. Sorry. You need to be also understanding in which sector you may want to put your funds into, because all the 4 are, absolutely 4 different sectors. So you may have your own, a little of research and understanding which sector at this particular point of time may do well, and then invest accordingly. Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Jasani, you was talking about LIC.
Yeah, some people have asked as to when is the LIC IPO launch timeline. So LIC IPO has been postponed from FY21 to FY22. So now, because there are a lot of formalities, lot of amendments to the statutes, etc., to be made, and valuations of embedded value to be made, I think it is not expected before December in any case, and we would be lucky if we finish it by March of 2022. One last question we will take. If I want, in case of Sona, if I want more than 45 shares, what do I do? So you can apply in multiples of 45 shares. Because one is that you will have to estimate as to how many times the IPO will get oversubscribed. So if in your view it is going to be oversubscribed by say 10 times, and you want more than 45 shares, so you want say 90 shares, so you can apply for 90 into 10, provided it is below 2 lakh of rupees. That is how you should be calculating and applying in the IPO. Yeah, I think we have been able to respond to most questions. HNI is high net worth individuals. One person has asked, what is the meaning of HNI? So high net worth typically means one who is applying for more than 2 lakh rupees worth of IPO. Okay, so I hope so. This finishes the webinar. I hope we have been able to add some knowledge, some perspective to what you already have. Yeah. Thank you for being with us, and happy investing and happy applying in IPOs.
Thank you all for joining in, and I hope this was a really good session, and you would have understood and try to make up your mind depending on all the insights that Mr. Deepak Jasani and Atul has shared, and it will help you invest in IPOs now and even further down the line through HDFC Securities. Thank you so much for joining, and have a great day ahead.